you can see me.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. Good evening for you. Is
No,
that
it's
right?
it's 6:30 in the morning.
Is it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Still morning for me as well. So there you go.
Hmm.
No, thank you very much for coming on board. It's nice to meet you over the airwaves, so to speak.
Nice to meet you too.
How's it all going?
It's going great, man. How are you?
Good, good. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
And did you meet Claire at the festival? Is that right?
No, I got hooked up with the website after I did the first time filmmakers, and
Ah.
I sent a pitch package over to over there.
Ah, nice, nice. So I misunderstood. I thought that you were attending the LA festival and that you met her there. Oh, there we go. Cool.
Mhm.
I haven't seen that pitch package. That would have been
Oh,
good for me to see, but it's okay. We can talk through things as they are. So let's keep it as free flowing as possible. But I'd like to set the rough agenda so that you can get the most value out of this. So I thought if we just talk about your career up to this point and then the particular challenges that you're facing. I know that you want to talk specifically about funding for, how do I pronounce it?
Cyrene.
Cyrene.
Yes.
So perhaps if we could get a little bit of a run in into that project. So can I get you to talk a little bit about your background as a filmmaker?
Well, I graduated from Georgia Southern University here in Georgia, of course, in 2012 with a degree in writing and linguistics. And right after that, I started working on short films here in Georgia, indies, commercials, just trying to make ends meet. But I ran into some problems just getting regular work and
Mm.
consistent work. So I would still do films and write and do my own projects, but I had to go into teaching. So I teach elementary school
Oh,
as
nice.
well. Yeah. So it gives me a lot of time off with summers and holidays to write, and we get out of work at 2:40 p.m. So it's plenty of time to work on film
Yeah.
as well. So I after that, 2015, I worked on a pretty big production as a production assistant, and then after that, I finished writing a project called Absurd, which is the project that was in the Liftoff Festival,
Mm.
and finished that in 2017 and released it and
Was
put it
that a
on
was that a short or a feature?
feature.
A feature.
Yeah, we did a feature. It was about five of us on the crew, and most of the time it was just me and my filmmaking partner Andrew. Just he had the boom, I had the camera, and we just got some
Yeah.
actors and did it. It took us about 6 months to do that, and but
True,
we it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
true independent style.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was your biggest challenges on that piece?
Scheduling,
Yeah.
getting actors there, actors pulling out the last second on
Oh,
shoot days.
really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah.
What did you do to overcome it?
Rescheduled. That's why I took six. That's why I took 6 months to shoot an 80-minute film. Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
just curious. Is there anything that you take from that experience into the next ones?
Oh, I learned that it takes more people to shoot a film. Um,
Yeah.
I um, I learned what not to do. I learned about framing a lot. My framing's gotten a lot better. I have a better DP. No offense to my old DP. Uh, just
That was one of the. I have seen the trailer. That was one of my concerns about it was that the cinematography particularly does seem, just from the trailer. I've only seen the trailer. I haven't seen the piece. The grade's not quite right, in my opinion. Like
right.
I'm sure you're fully aware of the strengths and the weaknesses of your own projects, but
Right.
yeah, I did notice that. So that's interesting that you've highlighted that you're finding, and you found a different DP.
Right.
Yeah.
And
What would you say? was your reason behind that? Maybe I'm completely misreading the situation.
The reason behind the grade,
Finding a new DP.
oh, just because I want somebody with a little more experience and somebody
Yeah.
just, more experience.
Yeah, 100% is so important, man.
All
Like
right.
the DP, like
Mm-hmm.
so many people moving into feature films are like make the mistake of working with their mates or like employing
Right.
somebody straight out of film school, thinking that
Mm-hmm.
they're going to uncover some talent. But
Mm-hmm.
you can that can happen as a director or as a writer. Like I mean, less so with writing. I think like you need, but especially director of photography, you need the experience of being on set, especially for a feature film, and that
Mm-hmm.
only comes with actually freaking doing it.
Right. Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that's interesting, especially also for funding. Like
Mm-hmm.
the visuals are number one because
Right.
whoever you're going to be asking money for, they need to see value on the screen or on the page or whatever it is or in the pitch. We'll get to this in a minute, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but um, like and if the visuals are like instantly nah, that's not good, then you're not going to get anywhere. All right, so cool. That was what was it called again, your first one?
Absurd.
Absurd.
Yes.
What was it about?
It's about this guy. He lives by this code of absurdism that nothing matters, but then he meets this female comic who tells these blue collar like these blue jokes, and it kind of makes him think that she's struggling with her own different problems. So he tries to save her in a
Oh,
sense,
cool.
and it kind of
That,
turns into something weird.
absurd.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And you wrote that one?
Yeah, I wrote that one too.
Writer director,
Yes.
writer director producer, everything else.
Right. Yeah.
So what's Cyrene?
Cyrene is about this journalist. She goes into this cult to try to infiltrate them, and the cult invites her in. She tries to expose them for what they really are because she thinks they're a corrupt cult. And there was a murder that happened there a year prior that she's trying to get to the bottom of, but she doesn't tell them that that's their intention. That's her intention. But then she kind of gets caught in a battle of wits with the cult leader, and also kind of not falls for, but gets caught up in the web with the cult leader's right hand man, and it just kind of clashes in a bunch of weird scenarios.
Sounds fun.
Hmm.
What's the genre? Thr
Psychological thriller, yeah,
Psychological thriller. Yeah,
yes.
sounds like it.
Mhm.
Um, and where are you at with it? What's the situation right now?
Well, the script, I've been working on the script over a year and a half. I've spent hundreds, maybe over $1,000 on coverage, and I've sent it to numerous people. It's already registered with the guild over here.
The
Um,
WGA.
yeah, WGA.
Yeah.
Um, I've just tweaked it, and hit I've taken all advice from anywhere I could get it. I've
Mm.
I've done it professionally. I've had it looked at 3 times. So I'll pay and then I'll get it back, redo it, and then send it back, and then just trying to fine tune
Oh
it so it's
wow.
perfect. Yeah, so I think it's really good, but it depends on what other people think. I think Claire read it.
Mm.
Um,
Sorry to just jump back a second. What was the process like for you with the sending it off? Did you send it off to screenwriters or were they companies
I
that
sent
that
it,
gave you
yeah,
did they give
companies.
you a script breakdowns and then what was that process like?
Yeah, they would give me script breakdowns and feedback, and then I would do something like this, a Skype meeting or a phone call
Yeah.
where we would discuss and talk about things to implement and improving the script.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Worth it?
Yeah,
Would you recommend it to other screenwriters?
I would recommend doing it how I did it. Just sending it to different companies and also sending it to your friends, family, and people you don't know, and just getting all that
Mm,
feedback and taking everything into
hmm.
consideration until you can make the script as good as you possibly can.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Sounds like I mean, sounds like that base has been covered at least, because one of my key things is like, if you're unless you're like already an established writer, you can't just write in a vacuum and not connect it with
Right,
anybody, because you
right.
don't know if it's going to connect with the audience, or if it's going to
Hmm.
connect with like the industry, or if you're writing about, or if you're just making like basic mistakes that you can
Right,
easily fix and learn,
mhm,
but you don't know if you're doing that on your own and you're not getting the feedback, and then
right.
you're not implementing that. So that sounds pretty good. So there is it's 90 pages. How long is it?
I think it's about 97, 98 pages.
97, 98.
Yeah.
And would you say the script's done? Have you finished it, or are you still tweaking?
I think it's done. I thought of a different scene for it just the other night, just to kind of take away some of that exposition and show it more visually.
Mm,
And I think that'll work a little bit better. So I could probably go and tweak that scene, and it would be much more powerful. But other
nice.
than that, I think it's pretty much ready to go, because I've already started making a shot list, and I've been talking to storyboard artists. I'm just going forward as if I already have the money, even though I don't. I'm
Yeah,
just going
yeah.
until I get somewhere to where I have it, and then I'll have all this stuff ready to script and storyboard, shot list, and crew and all that stuff. So it's
Okay,
a
great.
quicker process.
That was my next question. So, you're storyboarding it. Do you break down your scripts? Do you do like a production board?
Um, I haven't done that yet, but right now I'm just doing a straight up shot list on in
Yeah,
not extension, Excel document
yeah.
right now.
Practice. It's practicing directing it.
Hmm.
Shot lists, I always say.
Right, right.
Like what would you actually do?
Hmm.
Production boards I highly recommend. You can there's loads of um, programs online that you can
Hmm.
do, and it's you the basic structure of it is it's a big, long, complicated process, but you break down the script in terms of locations, and then you break down the script in terms of like cast, and then you
Hmm.
break down the script in terms of props, and then you get a clearer sense on how long is it going to take to shoot, how
Hmm.
much is it going to cost. It helps with budgeting, helps with
Right.
scheduling, all of those things. That can be part of the package along with your storyboard. Are
Hmm.
you doing art, or is it just um, words
Now it's going to
for
be
your?
actual art, like a story, like a comic book, you know, with the
Have you heard of
frames on it and everything.
Frame Forge Previs?
Frame Forge, Previs. No, I have not.
Type it into Google. I'm sure it'll come up. It's a bit expensive, but you might be able to find a pirated version. I don't know, but
Right.
if needs must. But I
Frame
didn't say that.
four. All right. Is it frame the number four, or is it
Frame
FOR?
Forge,
Oh,
Forge.
Forge. Previs. Okay.
It's not very artistic. From
Uh,
I've never used it actually, but from what I've heard, but it's really good in a 3D rendering of like spaces. So if you
mm,
know your locations and you
right.
know your the cameras that you're going to use, the lens or the potential lenses, it lets you basically practice shooting the film before you ever get to the. You can build the sets inside of it. You can place the characters. You can place the camera. You can render out shot lists and screen grabs. You can
Hmm.
fix things. You can fix really detailed, like technical things, like um, depth of field, and is there going to be enough space for your crew and your camera or your rig or your jib or whatever
Hmm.
setups you're using. So it gets quite detailed, but I recommend programs like that, and the specifically like store production board software,
Hmm.
because as part of a pitch package, they show that extra like, oh, holy fuck, this guy's like, he's really thought about
Right.
the I's and the T's.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so have you approached, so you've written, so you've got the script, you're moving
Hmm.
forward with it. What's been your process with trying to find funding?
So I've gone on the IMDb Pro, just looking for production companies, sending off a letter, a query letter. I've done, they have these things, I guess you probably know about them, but they have these script mailer websites to where you could just pay
Mm,
about $50 and they'll send it off to a bunch of different companies. But that doesn't usually work because we don't take unsolicited material or they just don't open it, period. So I'll probably hear back from two or three people just saying that they don't take unsolicited
don't
material.
take it.
So,
They always do though. That's the thing. They
oh,
like
you're right.
it depends on the companies. Of course, some won't, and it
Mhm,
depends on the script mailer companies as well. Because
mhm,
um, I don't really recommend them usually. Like I'm interested to hear your experience with them actually, because I've not had any like direct personal experience with them. But for me, it just seems like um, it's much better to have a hand on the companies that you're approaching, right?
right.
So who are they? Why are they going to be a good fit?
Mhm,
Um, and all of those things. Then you can manage. So it's a bit more work, but like
mhm,
it's much more manageable. Then you can build the relationships or like keep on emailing people if you don't get a response and
mhm,
you know the people that you've contacted.
mhm,
Um, so yeah, actually, this is a good. This is first thing. If you're trying to connect a script with a production company specifically,
mhm.
so you're trying to connect your script. Do you still want to write it? Sorry, direct it though.
Personally, yes, but I really just want to get in. The difficult thing about getting in is one, the market's really saturated. It's a bunch of
Yeah,
people trying to make film every
hundred
single
percent,
second. So,
100%.
what?
Especially with unsolicited scripts, like you're
Right.
in a sea of
Hmm.
noise. But
Hmm.
there are ways through it for sure.
Okay.
Uh,
Great.
so,
Um, Go ahead.
have you heard of Facts on Pacts?
Uh,
FACTS
uh-huh.
ONPACTS.
Facts on packs. Is that a website?
No, it's a publication done by Variety every year. I think it's
Okay.
Variety. I'm just pulling it up now. Yeah, by Variety, and basically it's what's it called? It's the development deals that have been made. So
Hmm.
major studios will give money every year to smaller independent production companies,
Hmm.
sometimes individual like stars or like people who I don't know, Ben Affleck. A studio will give money to Ben Affleck and be like, okay, we'll make a deal with you. We want you to make over the next 2 to 5 to 10 years, we want you to make X number of feature films.
Hmm.
And Ben Affleck might be looking to produce a feature film that he's going to star in as well.
Hmm.
But he's got a development deal with the studio. Now, Facts on Pacts is a list of all of these deals. So basically, it's a list of where all the money has
Hmm.
gone from Hollywood to production companies. And
Hmm.
these are the production companies that will be looking to make stuff in the next sort of year, 2 years,
Okay.
whatever their time period is. Now it's dependent on a lot of things, like what's their creative mission, like what do they want to be making. You're going to have
Hmm.
to do a ton of research, but get the list,
Hmm.
and that's the people that you should start with trying to connect your script to, right?
Okay.
Because these are the people that are looking to make work. They've got production, they've got the funding, and um, there may be opportunities there. With your piece, might just be, first of all, it has to be like a fucking great script, and
Hmm.
I'm like, that's down to you. I'm sure it is, and it sounds like you're doing everything you can to make it that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. And then so if that ticks the box, and if it's in the right place at the right time, so your experience of people saying, "Oh yeah, we don't accept unsolicited scripts," um, that's a lie, or not a lie. It's just a something that's put out there to stop people from, and some people don't accept unsolicited scripts because they're not looking to make stuff, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if they're looking to make things, then they're going to be on the lookout. Now, then that might be the thing is, right, that the great script is really hard to come by.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
if they cut off that like potential, then if they cut off the potential of finding a great script, then they're not doing themselves any favors. So most production companies that have these kind of distribution deals in place, or
Mm-hmm.
production deals in place, will have, perhaps it's just an intern or perhaps it's somebody, but they will read everything that comes in because one of them could be gold. They might only read like one page. They might read
Mm-hmm.
10 pages, then they get put into a pile of maybes, then they go through the maybes in more details. I don't know what their particular like process is, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to say that like there are ways to get in the door.
Okay.
A good So I would mail scripts to these companies,
Mm-hmm.
because they're much harder to ignore than an email.
Um, Quick question. Should I add a query or some sort of synopsis on top of it, or just mail the
Yeah,
script?
yeah,
Okay.
I would add as much of the package as you can.
Oh, okay.
So
So
like
with the okay.
make if you've got art, put it in there. If you've got like a clear audience already that you're engaging and they're really
Uh-huh.
excited about it, put all
Yeah.
of that stuff in there.
Okay.
Um, uh, you might find different advice on this, but like you basically want them to open it and then
Mm-hmm.
to be like, because the initial response is going to be, oh, for fuck's sake, it's another script, got to read that.
Right.
But so you want them to go, actually, this guy looks like he knows what he's talking about. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just one of the other thousand unsolicited scripts we're going to get this month.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth an extra look, and that extra look might just be the thing that makes them go, oh, all right, cool. Well, this does actually fit with what we're trying to do this quarter, or this like in the next 5 years or whatever. We'll put it on the thing. What they then might do, if you get through that door, is that they then might option it, or they might like they'll get in contact with you.
Okay.
But the problem with this route is if you've got your heart set on directing it, it's highly unlikely that they'll let you direct it as well.
Right.
Um, they will if they love the script, then they might. There's two options. They'll be like, yeah, it's perfect, it's ready to go. But they'll probably get in a different director. Um, there are always contingencies to this because there might be a company that is looking to unearth new talent, work with like hot new directors, and that
Mm-hmm.
might be their thing, and they might have money for that specifically. But this facts on packs thing, I'd say that's unlikely. Usually, this is like the studio level kind
Mm-hmm.
of million dollar
Right.
budget range of things. Um, so there is that possibility. Have you thought about what was I going to say? So your package.
Mm-hmm.
So have you got cast attached?
I don't have.
If you were
No cast. I have a cast in the. Have you seen the teaser? Can I send you some of the stuff really quickly? Can I
Please do,
email it to
yeah,
you?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
the email address? I
It's
didn't.
ben@liftoff.network.
Yeah, okay, that network, and I can send that over to you in really quickly, and we can keep talking while I do. I'm gonna do it from my phone,
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
but
Because that was going to be my next point. Shoot a sizzle trailer, but it sounds
yeah,
like you've already done that.
yeah, I've done that, and let's see. and I have some art too. I want you to see. Is that okay if I send you the art piece too?
Please, yeah.
And let me preface it with saying, for the art, the actual photos, I was going for a Renaissance photography or painting kind of look for that. And that's what that was inspired by. And the teaser trailer was inspired by, do you know Heaven's Gate, the cult? Marshall Applewhite and
Are they the ones that stood on the thing and killed themselves in Nike trainers? Is that them?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's them. And it's about 39 of them, and they drank something, cyanide or
That's
whatever you drink to die. And
that's it.
yeah,
Thinking that they were gonna jump to a comet as it passed over
yeah,
the
yeah,
realm. Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, he had a video that he put out on their website, and I based this trailer on that video, sort of. So you'll get an idea. And I'll. Do you want me to send you that video too?
Please, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'm
okay.
fascinated by cults and that kind of. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
Nuts.
the
Stuff is
with the
nuts.
Manson things. Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, man. And he has
Well,
man. Go ahead.
so I was just going to say, what is it? What does it take? What makes like a charismatic guy with a lot of crazy in him able to to convince a group of girls to go and murder people? It's fucking mind blowing.
Nuts, man. Nuts. All right. So let me go to taking a little time. So how long you been with Liftoff?
I helped to found it. It's
Oh, nice.
me and James were the originals
Oh, nice.
ten,
Nice.
10 years ago. Yeah.
That's cool, man. It's a great program you have going on over there, man. I appreciate all the help you guys are giving me.
Oh, no problem. It's our pleasure. That's why we do it. It started off really small, and then it just became this this like calling almost. Like
Hmm.
there was never the plan for it to turn out like this, but then it just became the most obvious thing for us to do because we were like providing real value to the world,
Hmm.
or I feel in our own way. We try to anyway.
All right. We can keep talking because it's taking a
Yeah,
little
no
while.
worries. So the package. So you've got
Hmm.
a sizzle trailer. You've got
Hmm.
cast, but in a roughly.
Right.
But you open to recasting it and all of that. So
Of course.
we facts on pacts and trying to pro- approach production companies specifically is kind of like the
Hmm.
writer director route. Well, there is also the writer director producer route, which sounds like, I mean, you've already had experience of it with
Hmm.
your previous feature. So it might, I think you got a good attitude actually. What you said at the beginning, like you're just pushing forward with it as if you were going to shoot it, and
Right.
then
Right.
because then you're not relying on it on a yes. You're not waiting for anybody to say,
Hmm.
um, not waiting for permission, basically. Because one of the biggest things I think is like you. So do you have an audience in mind already? Do you
Yeah.
know who they are and where they consume their stuff?
Right. So I did some research. I have it right here with me, actually. I did some research. I've been doing this for a while, just trying to get how to distribute and audience
Mm,
appeal. And just talked about how why, like the script is special. And we actually had some, the market. Okay. So it says, according to market research, slightly more women watch psychological thrillers than
yeah,
men, most
yeah.
likely because of lack of physical conflict. But there is some physical conflict in this film as well. But
Oh,
it's
that's
really
interesting.
psychological. Yeah, yeah.
My wife fucking loves them.
Oh, nice, excellent,
Yeah, but
excellent.
yeah,
Um,
she loves those murder mystery, true crime
hmm.
murder mystery things.
Yeah,
I don't know
sort of
what it
like a
is.
Gone Girl or something like that. Have you
Exactly.
seen that?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
have. Yeah, Fincher, that is, isn't it? I think.
I like Fincher's one of my favorites, man. He does a lot of
Yeah,
psychological thrillers like Seven and Gone Girl,
yeah,
and
yeah, me
yeah.
too. He's an
Uh,
awesome director. Sorry, where were we? We were talking about, oh yeah, audience,
mhm.
and route to market. So that's cool. That sounds like you've got a rough demographic, but
Mhm.
have you started any social media pages for this project at
Yeah,
all?
I emailed. That's what I emailed you. The Facebook page for it has twenty
Oh,
thousand
cool.
views on it, and
Oh, cool. Oh, here we go. I've got it. I didn't even open the thing. Let's have a look. Oh, cool. And this other one's the Heaven's Gate thing. Did you know that there's a dude from Heaven's Gate that's still active?
yeah, I
Have
think
you
they have
heard
two
this?
members. I think they have two members left.
They stayed behind to like manage email address, they respond to emails or something.
Right.
There's an email that you can write to and you'll get a response
That's
eventually.
that's insane.
Yes. And the web, I think it's on the website actually.
And I heard the website is still like it's the same kind of format from 1997.
Sorry, one second. My computer's going crazy. I just opened YouTube. All right, I'll watch that one later. What were you saying? I didn't hear you because I had suddenly had like a YouTube ad playing in my ears.
Oh, it's their website is still formatted from 1997, so it looks like it was made in the
Oh,
90s.
old
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
So I think there's an email address on that website that you can write to and then get a response.
That's really cool.
Whereas I'm just pulling up your Facebook page here.
Okay.
Cyrene. And this is your teaser trailer. I'll just play it if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead. Of course.
If my internet works. Hmm. All right, my internet's not behaving very well because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
doing this call and trying to stream video at the same time. It's not a good idea.
Okay.
Let me just try again.
I also shot you the concept art photo that we did and put together.
Oh, I think it's working. No, it's not. Okay, I'll have to watch that later at the end of the call. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It's just not going to work. I'm just going to break this call probably if I try and play this. Oh, decided to play now, hasn't stop that. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. The portraits.
Hmm.
So one thing I'd immediately say is this makes it for me to me this says horror,
Hmm.
rather than psychological thriller. So that's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. That's just the immediate impression I get.
Hmm.
Um, so And also with I saw the very first picture of the blood on the face I don't know if it was on the screener. Again, that says to me horror.
Hmm.
Um, so so let's catch up. So where are you? So you've got the script, you started to pull together some art and some trailers and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, where are you now? And then what's the next step? Do you think?
Well, the next step is to finish the shot list,
Hmm.
finish the storyboards, and have that along with the package with the cover art and the teaser trailer, and try to get it to people who may be interested in the project. I'm not saying that I've done the most work before trying to go to people, but I feel like I've done more work than most people trying to go
Mm.
and get money for a script or a project, just in terms of preparing things. But um, the next step would just be the problem I'm having with my next step is time now because I'm working full time and
Yeah,
just knowing people. It's difficult to make connections as a third grade teacher in Fulton County,
100%.
Georgia.
Yeah, yeah,
And so that's just
100%.
the thing.
Okay, so two things there. Time. Um, the first thing to say about time is like it's a pain in the ass, and you just have to use what
Right.
time you have. And I'm sure that for me, what I've experienced, I can only talk from my own experiences. If I plan what I'm going to do tomorrow, if I plan that today, then I maximize my time, and
Right.
especially if I'm juggling things around. So at the end of the night, religiously, without any excuses whatsoever,
Hmm.
I pull up my diary, pull up like a spreadsheet, whatever,
Hmm.
and go through because I've definitely been in places in my life where I've wasted time, or
Hmm.
not wasted time. I felt like I've been productive, but I haven't been as productive as possible. And especially if you're battling lots of other things as well.
Hmm.
Um, another another thing to say on that is it's a really good exercise to do the 100 units of time exercise, which is like for a week you set an alarm on your phone, and every hour you set an alarm to go off, and then you record what you've been doing in that hour. So it could just be, oh, I've been, for most hours this to this, I was at work, or it could be like eating or making food or like all the little activities that you do. And the reason that you do this is because um, I did this and I found out that I was spending 3 hours a day on my phone, and
Hmm.
I was like, fucking hell. I didn't, I thought I knew I was spending like a bit too much time on my phone, but I didn't realize that I was spending like 3 hours a day on it. And
Hmm.
then I was like, right, how am I going to stop this? So I started to I installed like a quality time app on the phone, and I started to record how much time I was doing it. And when I saw it in front of my face, um, I cut it out. So if you do the 100 units of time exercise, you might discover something that you're like, oh, actually,
Hmm.
is doing this thing for an hour a day, which it turns into 6 hours, 7 hours a week, like 28 hours a month. That's time
Hmm.
that could be used for something else. I don't know. It's a useful exercise.
Hmm.
So time definitely is a pain in the ass. You just have to work with what you've got and be as productive as possible. Connections is also a pain in the ass, but it sounds like you've already started this process. But like the first thing with connections, I think, is to to identify product in the marketplace that is already like yours. So
Hmm.
so things that have a track record, and do research on them. So use IMDb Pro and find out who are the production companies, who were the sales agents, who were the distributors, what their route to market was, like what was their marketing campaign
Hmm.
like what were their trailers like, um, what was the artwork? What does the artwork look like?
Hmm.
Who are the audience? How much money did they make at the box office? All of those things. And if you can get like a things that have gone before you, right? They burn a path through the market, through the
Hmm.
industry, and ultimately these are the routes that everyone goes down. Like everybody likes to think, oh, my product's unique, my project's different, but actually
Hmm.
there are like set, there's room to go off piste with
Right.
these things. But if you do that research, I think you'll discover
Mm.
like, oh, actually what if I tweak my artwork like this, or if I create more artwork and it pushes like this? Because ultimately, and this is another point I want to get onto after this, but ultimately with the package is that these people that you're talking to generally have no imagination at all, right?
Hmm.
So generally they're not even going to read your scripts, or you'll be lucky if they read like your log line.
Hmm.
Sometimes, I'm generalizing massively, but um, so the value of your piece, like the heart of the story, what it's about, needs to be communicated in as quick as way as possible.
Hmm.
And all of these tools are definitely used to do that. So like the sizzle trailer,
Hmm.
and maybe try and shoot a couple of full scenes for people that want to go deeper into it. I don't know how much you've shot of it already, but if you can get like the most exciting scene in your film, and it's kind of a story in itself, like it's got a hook, it's got
Hmm.
clear narrative, and it's got like most importantly, like a point of no return at the end, like a climax. And
Hmm.
if you could shoot that and then use that as well, rather than, I don't know what your sizzle trailer was, but rather than just a montage, like a montage of stuff is great. I don't know if that's what
Hmm.
you've done, or maybe you've just done what I've just said. But and all of that going into a package. Another good idea when you're approaching people for money is you can cut a trailer using footage from, or cut a series of scenes using footage from films that have already gone before.
Hmm.
So what it would look like is you literally take scenes from other films, and you don't pretend that they're yours, or you don't pretend that you've shot them, but you use them to convey like your
Hmm.
vision, right? Because that's
Right.
that's the most important thing, is it's your vision. And you need to get investors to be like, oh fuck, this is really cool, or
Hmm.
whatever it is that you're trying to resonate with them.
Hmm.
So if you cut a trailer from different movies, and then in a pitch, for example, you can use that, and then you can talk through
Hmm.
your story, essentially hitting all the key points and the characters. And rather than it be like a dry pitch or presentation, it's another visual thing that you have on a
Hmm.
TV or whatever. Like once upon a time, there was this person, and you see a scene from a movie, and then you introduce the characters, and however you figure
Hmm.
your pitch out. Um, I've heard that is something that can work really well. But mainly, it's like who do you who do you approach? Like what? So so you've got connections, right? This is the problem with connections. Who do you approach?
Hmm.
And you need to find out that information from the research of previous films, because you might find a production company that has already made stuff like this and is looking to make more because it's made them a lot of money, and they've done really well. And pitching to those kind of people are great as well, because always ask for feedback as well, because then they
Hmm.
will be able to like um, tell you things that you might be missing, that's really obvious, or that you just completely overlooked.
Hmm.
Um, let me send, actually, we've got a list of, where is it? What is it? It's a list of all of the funds around the world, all of the movie funds that we
Hmm.
can send you. I think these are like 600 companies that are involved in funding somehow.
Geez, that's good. I didn't have that before. That sounds great. Yeah.
They're not all going to be useful. Again,
Right.
you'll have to do your research. There might be like, but the Berlin Film Fund in there, but there might be a couple in there that for what there is. This is another arc actually. It's completely different to anything else. This is soft money, right? So, do you know the term soft money?
Uh, I don't know, but I can kind of
So so
tell me.
soft money is fund is like public money basically. It's funds or grants. Sometimes it's literally grants and there you just get the cash and you don't have to pay it back. Sometimes it's like a soft investment. So they will give you X amount, but it's part of their cultural they're trying to reach out to some part of culture, so they're giving money. Say a charity, right? A charity wants to fund stories about, I don't know, domestic abuse, so they have
Mhm,
a certain amount of money that they can fund stories like this, whatever. So you might find funds in there that fit something about you or about your project or
mhm,
about like this particular story, or you might find some relevance in there. So that's
mhm,
an easy target because the soft money doesn't necessarily need to be paid back. Um, so the soft money is one. The second,
mhm.
so talking about connection now, soft money,
Right.
we'll send you the list of like 600 companies.
Okay.
Um, the second one is the production company. So you started to do that process when you're sending out the script to
Mhm,
try to connect with companies to see
mhm,
if they can fund you.
mhm,
But you could also send the script out to not necessarily the facts on packs list, not necessarily the people who have like millions of dollars to produce feature films over the next certain amount of years, but to smaller companies. And again, you'll find this through your research that perhaps, I mean, I don't know what is the budget actually? What is the projected budget? Have you got
600,000 American
600,000? Yeah,
USD. Yeah.
yeah. So you might find some companies that have the ability to like come on board. Maybe they won't fund it all, but maybe they'll become a producing partner, or they'll
Mhm,
partner you with other people. So to get in front of those people, it's to get those connections, it's research, and then making sure your package is sexy. So you're you have to have a great script, but you can't just rely on the great script because
mhm,
sometimes people will just be like, "Nah, I'm not reading that." You want to
mhm.
like display value instantly. Um, so through your artwork, through like your research of what other people have done in terms of like trailers, does your like have you got a website for the project?
It's not really done. There's a website, but it just has the log line on it right now.
Yeah.
We're still developing the website.
So get that done
Mhm,
and ready to rock and roll because um, my sense is, and I don't I don't know if this is fair or not, that like because you're so connected with the story and you're inside of that deeply,
mhm,
that I mean I don't know if this is true at all, but like the danger is that once if you're connected inside the story so much that like you forget about displaying that connection and that like the value really of the piece. What is it? What is the thing that's going to make people want to pay money to go and see it, right?
mhm.
And who are the audience, like specifically beyond kind of that what you just told me. Um, it's a hard question. It's a really hard question. You have to like
Mhm,
try and get really specific with it because what I'm coming around to saying is if you approach a production company with a really sexy package and you have a really clear route to market and an audience already engaged through social media
mhm,
or through whatever other channels, um, then then the lack of imagination from these people's, the bridge is connected, right? They're like, oh my God, I can see the value, I can see the audience, I can see the story, I can read the script, it's great. So therefore now I can give money to this project because I'm excited about it, rather than like you having to sell it to them. You are selling it to them, but you're displaying the value, so they're like excited by
Mm.
it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing is, have you, through your research, see if you can connect with executive producers,
Mm.
and you can get an executive producer on a finder's fee contract.
Hmm.
So again, through the displaying of like ultimate value from your package and your script and your vision and what you're trying to do, um, through you can connect with an executive producer and give them a finder's fee contract where if they find money for your production, they can keep whatever 10% of it, 20% of it.
Mm.
Is that something that you've had experience with, or
Mm.
that
No,
you've
I
thought
haven't.
about doing?
Mm-mm.
So you'll find executive producer, not necessarily all listed executive producers on IMDb are this kind of producer, but they do exist. They are out there. They're basically wealthy people with wealthy mates
Okay.
that like playing in the film industry, and they're just
Okay.
like they like finding new talent, or they like being involved with exciting projects for whatever reason, and
Hmm.
it's like rich man's train set, right? So,
Right. Right.
and then if somebody knows people like that, so maybe somebody has lots of contacts like that, then you just need them to introduce you to them, right? So
Mm.
that's the finder's fee bit. So then they're like, yeah, I've got a rich mate that might be interested in putting money in this. What's in it for me? And
Hmm.
they're executive producers, or can be the executive producers. Another the hard way
Hmm.
is and it's the hard way, but the most realistic way. And I say realistic in a sense that like you don't need a yes from anybody yet. Well, you do need a yes, actually. I'll get to this in a minute, but you don't. It's something that you can do, um, especially if you've got a group of of really pushy salespeople or like people who know how to sell. Is a cold sales campaign
Mm.
um, for your project itself. And this one's quite exciting because you don't need any outside companies to recognize your talent or anything like that. So what this looks like is if you set up a company, and I don't know what it's like in Georgia, but you have to figure it out so that you can set up probably an LLC
Hmm.
or a company that can take investment, right? And you have, I think in the States, it's an offering memorandum. So you set up a company specifically for this project,
Hmm.
and then what you do is you'd literally start a cold sales campaign. So you have to get a list of people who have donated to the opera, people who have donated to arts, or people who are specifically interested in your genre.
Mm.
Your If there's people around your story, like start with who would be interested in these stories, and then try to identify the the rich the rich people among that. A cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. Is dentists, right? You can go to the phone book, or it's not a phone book anymore, but like you can just get on Google and find pull a list of thousands of dentists all around where you want to shoot or what you want to do, and just hammer the phones. Get together a short sales script which introduces, just says, "Hey, have you ever thought about investing in feature film? You don't. You just want to cut straight to the chase." And then if they're like, hang on, this sounds interesting. You send them over your pitch package,
Hmm.
which includes the script, the artwork, everything that makes it look really cool. Um, and you say to them on the call, if you're interested, I'll send you over a pitch package. You can have a look at it, and then I'll set you up a private screening. So what you try to do from these sales calls, and you have to do like 100 of them a day, and it's hard. It's hard. There's nothing easy about it. But like,
Hmm.
what 9 out of 10 will hang up. One person might be like, "Yeah, I've never. This sounds interesting." Through your pitch, through your like display of value, what the story is, who you are, like what your company's trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, and you've set up a private screening for them in a local cinema, which is why you should do like you want people to be able to get to you, because
Hmm.
a rule here is that some people might say, some high net worth people might say, come meet me in my office and we'll talk about it. As a general rule, if you can't get them to come to you, they're not going to give you any money. So if you set up a couple of screenings over a couple of months, go to a local cinema, hire a room from like midday, hire a screening room from midday, and then put on an event like a gala, like an opera thing, where um, you have champagne or you have like beers or whatever. People come in. You're trying to basically do these cold calls to fill up these seats in these different events that you're doing. Maybe you do one, maybe you do two, maybe you do three. I don't know, however you structure it. And it's just a pitching event where you pitch the project, you show, perhaps you've shot some scenes, perhaps you've got some actors, you can bring the actors in to do a rehearsed reading. What you want to do is get these high net worth individuals excited about it. They're investing in feature film, right? This is an opportunity. Maybe they've never done anything like this before. It's really
Hmm.
exciting. They get to be involved in making movies. They get to be
Right.
involved in like launching this amazing project into the world.
Hmm.
And if they come into the room and you've structured the company, you've set up the company, you've structured it so that you're offering, like, you have to do loads of research into this because I don't really know this part very well, but um, say you're looking for £600,000 and you've got $600,000 and you've got like, I don't know, so many slots of 10 grand. Now, to some people, 10 grand's worth is change, right? And that's
Hmm.
you want to find those people and you want to get them excited, and you want to. The phrase I've heard is sell the sizzle, sell the being in the movie, sell the this is the cast, this is the
Hmm.
crew, sell the you can come down on set and hang out and you can be part of the filming process. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Um, that's that's an idea, and it's similar to crowdfunding as well. I mean, that's obviously crowdfunding is very, very different to that. That's much more high pressured, focused sales, and that's a route that can work, and it gives you a lot of freedom because then everything's on your own terms, right?
Hmm.
If you can raise the money, then you don't have to shoot according to anybody else's rules. You can do it. Like, you can
Hmm.
make it. You've got the cash. You can employ the people, and usually the deals look like they get so fifth after all expenses, after all profit, you keep 50%, and the investment pool is 50%, and investors recoup first. So um, any other investment in it, like soft funds, recoup after the investors.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, does that sound like, if that's a big undertaking, does that sound like something that you would do, or does that sound like, do you know anybody that it works in sales that you might be able to like partner with to help you do that?
I have a few friends in sales. The crowdfunding, that's a consideration we've had too. And then
With
just
with
go ahead.
Sorry, no, I'm just jumping ahead of myself. I'll let you finish first.
Um, in terms of just calling, I, I'm trying to look. I guess I could look online. Let me plug this computer in. It's about to die. I've tried to look online for people who just invest. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah, yeah,
Investors. And I've spent, money on websites like that, and it's still just difficult to, crack. So,
yeah. Which is why you should
so
you have to do the high pressure thing. You have to do the ring people and
hmm
get a yes or a no, because otherwise
right.
you're it's the same thing as sending out scripts using the script service. Like you might be lucky, like,
hmm
but it's just a faceless thing otherwise. Like you want
Right.
somebody to fall in love with you and
hmm
your project and why they should, like, maybe they don't have maybe they don't have a family and they're like looking for something fun to do, and
hmm
they love you, like they fall in love with you like a son, and they want to help you with your career. You're an
hmm
intelligent guy, you seem to have your head screwed on, you've got this passion, but
hmm
like you don't have any money, and they're like they have money and they want to help you. Like
Right.
that's possible. That is a possibility that can exist. It's just it's hard to get to that point, and the
hmm
only way to get to that point is to like spread the net out and try to
Right.
just connect with as many people as possible.
Right.
Um, um, what were you saying beforehand? You triggered something in my mind. Oh, crowdfunding. So
hmm
crowdfunding is a totally different beast. Crowdfunding, and this will be interesting with with your social media stuff.
hmm
If I'm taking a look at your social media, it was 25th. So it's fairly new, right?
Yeah. Have you been able to open? I guess you can't open the actual trailer yet.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But what's important with social media is cultivating an active audience. And what that means, and it becomes another job, unfortunately, which is why it's good if you can if you can get a team together to help you with this. But like I can see that you've started the page and you've posted a few things and that's it.
hmm
Um, so that's cool to start with. But for your social media page, you want it to be the front facing thing for your project. So you should be posting every day. You should be trying to engage an audience, and you can do things like polls. You can do things like introduce characters, introduce story arcs, introduce
hmm
artwork, all of the things about your project that gives it value, which is like ultimately the connection with the audience.
hmm
Um, these are the things that you should be like nurturing through Facebook. You can do things like, I don't know, uh, like what should we name this character? Or you can do run polls. You want to try and get engagement with it, but the important thing is that it's like consistent and
hmm
it all feeds each other, right? So
hmm
once people start to engage with it and join the film, join you, join the idea, join the movement, then you can start thinking about crowdfunding, not before. Because crowdfunding you have to have an active, engaged audience that's really excited by it. And ideally, you should be collecting email addresses on your website. So see if you
hmm
can set up your website so that you make it really easy for people to connect with you and your project, and leave their details. So it could be like, I don't know, stay in touch, you want to make a clear call to action at the very top of your website. Stay in touch with updates from us. We won't spam you, but we'll email you and let you know about the progress or
hmm
whatever, right? Whatever it is. Um, you can tell them if they leave their email address that they get, like, give them artwork or give them something exciting
Right.
in exchange for it. Um, But at the very least, just ask people, do you want to stay in contact with us? Because then
Mm-hmm.
what that does is you'll start to have a like a database of email addresses that you can market to essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And once that reaches like, I don't know, at least a few thousand people, I'd say, then
Mm-hmm.
you can start to think about crowdfunding because you have direct access through your Facebook group, through your website, and people that are interested in the project,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that have left their email address, and that you talk to. Maybe you just send an email once a month talking about like something new about the project.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's all this is all really marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's a skill in itself, and it's also a kind of a full-time job in itself, and it
Mm-hmm.
can be a pain in the ass, but it can also be really creative because you've written the story, you know why it excites you. So if you can communicate that to other people, um, then it's more power to you. So what I'm trying to say is that by doing this process, you then make yourself a much more investable um, product when you approach the market, because you have like clear data. And this is what I was talking about earlier with a clear marketing plan. If you can go to a production company or a sales agent that's going to like give you money, and you can say to them, this is the product, it's great, XYZ, the script's amazing, all of that stuff that should be given. But also, um, here's the Facebook group, here's the audience that we've been speaking to,
Mm-hmm.
here's like the engagement,
Mm-hmm.
here's the way that we've been contacting them,
Mm-hmm.
here's this is the kind of people that they are. Then suddenly people are like, that kind of thing is like the cherry on the cake. If the product's amazing, plus the marketing's clear, and especially because you're kind of like you're trying to push boulders up hills, right? You're not at the stage of your career yet where you can just pick up the phone and then like
Right.
stuff's going to happen. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
do as much as you can to demonstrate immense value in all of these areas. And at the moment, um, looking at your Facebook page, it's like, uh, oh hey, well I can't really see the value in it. There must be stuff there that makes you excited about it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
put that on this page, cultivate it, generate it,
Okay.
and your website as well.
Right.
Maybe. So there's a lot there, right? We've spoken about a hell of a lot of stuff. We covered executive producers, right?
Yes.
So at the base of it all, just to kind of recap, at the base of it all really is the the package, and being able to display as much value in that package as possible. Because if you can display the value, then whoever you talk to, whether it's an executive producer, whether it's a private investor,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a production company, if you've got that package and the marketing idea down, then suddenly you're a much more investable um, prospect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you have any questions about anything, or is there anything else you want to talk about that we haven't covered?
Yeah, in
Just
terms
trying to
of
look through my notes.
building the Facebook page or social media,
Mm,
um, so we have the trailer, and then we have
hmm
that cover art, that portrait I sent you. But then I have individuals of each one, of each
hmm
character, bloody and clean. So
hmm
I have about 20 pictures. So 20 pictures is gonna run out in 20 days. So I'm thinking, could I post real life footage of cult leaders or
Yeah.
stuff like
Definitely.
that, and videos
100
of cult leaders talk. Like I can compare. Like the next thing I can do even today is post that video I sent you of Marshall Applewhite giving his speech so they can
100
compare it.
100%. Like all of that stuff is great. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be stuff that you've produced. Could just be
Right.
like, could be a blog article on like what makes, I don't know, the themes in your, but like a round theme of your script.
Okay.
Like what's everyone's thoughts on this? Like this makes me blah 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 in the story, and then start to introduce themes and elements and like and
Hmm.
ideas. Have again in your research, have a look at. I mean, larger budget productions might not necessarily have a Facebook page, but like have a look at examples and just find generally if you can. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like you can find things that have worked and adapt them to your own purposes
Hmm.
as a general rule. Um, like all of those things I think are really great. Another possibility, and I don't know if you have the budget for this, is Facebook marketing
Yeah,
because you
we've
have
done
a
that.
because you can push um, push your message, push your trailer, push your artwork. You can boost the post, try and
Hmm.
find audiences that might like it,
Hmm.
and engage with it. That's a quick way to pour fuel on the fire, right? You can
Hmm.
once you've got it like burning and turning, you can start to really like rank uh, rank things up, and especially if you're collecting email addresses,
Hmm.
because then your investment has like a potential return. Like it's probably going to be a sunk cost. Like you're probably not going to immediately make that money that you've invested in Facebook ads back. But if
Hmm.
you can get an email address for in exchange for like Facebook ad spend, then that's kind of like it's more value than just like a like on a page. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm. Right.
Um, so that's something I would definitely do. Yeah. I mean, good luck, man. It always makes me humble. Like it always makes me go like fucking out because the challenge is great, but the rewards are great as well, and
Hmm.
the lessons are great. Everything about it is just great, and
Right.
it's pure creativity, right? It's something from
Hmm.
your brain that you're bringing into the world, and that's always to be like
Right.
ultimate respect and ultimate power to that, because that's
Hmm.
without that thing of like, well, the odds are against me, but fuck it, I'm going to do it. Without that,
Right.
then nothing happens in the world ever.
Right. Right.
Imagine if God, like at the beginning in the universe, was like, it's a lot of effort.
Right. 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 Um, Question.
Yeah,
So I know I talked to Claire the other day. She said later down the road when there's more funding in place, I could still come back and reconnect with you guys on terms of the support when it comes to equipment or, things like that. Is that still on the table?
100%. Yeah, if you want us to
Okay.
look at anything as well, like shoot us an email. Like if you have, uh, I don't know, a teaser trailer that like, or if you want advice, if you want like feedback on anything, send it over.
Hmm.
Feedback's very quick and easy for us to do. Um, and then in terms of like production support, if you want us to come on board and help you with like um, equipment and personnel, things like that. It's actually production support's hard for us in the US at the moment. That
Right.
might change. That might change in the future.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, definitely, 100%. Would stay in touch. Would love to keep up to date and find out how things are going for you. But yeah, if you have any like quick questions or feedback that you want on what do you think of this? Should I do this?
Okay.
Send it straight over.
Okay, great. Could you, whenever you get a chance to watch that video, both videos actually, mine and the Marshall Applewhite one, could and
Yeah,
compare them? Could you just kind of shoot me an email on that? Just what you
yeah,
think
100%,
about it and how it
100%,
connects. Okay.
100%.
Um, I'm
I'll
gonna
do it
actually,
as soon as the call ends. I'll be able to.
great, great. I'm gonna hit the pavement today because I actually took the whole day off just to do the call and you know, implement some of the things I would get from the call. So I'm gonna actually just start doing a bunch of this stuff here this morning.
That's good.
Um, I appreciate everything, man. I'm just let me know what you think of the package, and I'm just gonna go from there and keep you guys updated until we're able to pull some money together. I think we'll be able to do it. Just
Nice.
stay diligent.
One step at a time.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
man. I
Nice
appreciate it,
one.
man.
Nice one, Aaron. Nice to meet you as
Mhm.
well. And
Nice to meet you too.
good luck. And we'll connect later.
All right, man. Have a
All
good day.
right. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Bye.